Have you noticed maybe it's getting a bit harder to open jars or perhaps climbing stairs leaves you more winded than it used to? It's something a lot of us feel, right? And we often just chalk it up to, getting older.
Hmm.
But what if that feeling, that sort of gradual weakness, isn't just inevitable aging? What if it's actually a metabolic condition we can, well, change? Maybe even reverse. We're talking about sarcopenia, this gradual loss of muscle that affects, honestly, nearly every senior. But here's the thing, it's not necessarily a fixed fate. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. In this deep dive, we're going to explore exactly why your body tends to lose muscle after age 50, and we'll reveal what might be the single most effective food to help reverse this process, plus some specific timing strategies to really maximize the effects. Because you can rebuild muscle. It's really never too late.
That's such a crucial point
Yeah.
because people often just assume, oh, I'm losing muscle, that's just aging. But the science really shows it's a specific physiological shift. And it's one we can absolutely address with, targeted nutrition and lifestyle tweaks.
Okay, so let's start there. What's actually happening inside our bodies? You mentioned this term, anabolic resistance. It sounds a bit technical. What does it actually mean for our muscles?
Right. Well, think of it like your body becoming a bit hard of hearing, muscle-wise. It just doesn't pick up on those muscle-building signals as clearly as it did when you were younger. Back then, you eat some protein, boom, your muscles respond strongly. Now, that same signal needs to be, well, louder, more specific. There was actually a key study, I think it was 2019, Journal of Physiology. It found older adults need about 40% more protein than younger folks to get the same muscle-building kick. So it's a specific condition you see, not just some vague getting older thing.
40% more. Wow. Okay, that's a really significant difference. It makes you wonder, are most seniors actually getting that much? What does this mean for, the average person's diet?
Yeah, that's the problem. Most people are falling quite short. What's really concerning is that many seniors only get around zero point 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day. That's barely hitting the minimum for just basic function. But research, like from the Pure Oj study group, suggests for optimal muscle maintenance, you actually need more like 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram. That's nearly double the standard recommendation.
Double.
Yeah. So you end up with this critical protein gap, and that explains why so many seniors see faster muscle decline, even if they feel like they're eating okay. There's just this disconnect between what the body actually needs now and what we're typically giving it.
That's a huge gap, and probably one most people aren't even aware of. Is it just about the amount of protein, or are there other things at play here that make it harder to keep muscle as we age?
Oh, absolutely. Protein quantity is just one piece. Another really big factor is insulin sensitivity. Insulin isn't just about blood sugar. It's crucial for getting amino acids, the building blocks from protein, into your muscle cells. And unfortunately, with age, insulin sensitivity can decline, sometimes by up to 50% in many seniors.
50%, that's massive.
It is. And then add poor sleep on top of that. Yeah. Research shows that can reduce insulin sensitivity by another 25%. So it just gets harder and harder. There was work done at the University of Nottingham. They tracked this. By age 70, the muscle's response to the same amount of protein. It drops by nearly half compared to a 30-year-old. But the flip side is, if you can improve that insulin sensitivity, those nutrients get delivered much more effectively. It makes a huge difference.
Okay, I have to admit, that all sounds a bit daunting, like our bodies are actively working against us here. But you said earlier there's hope that science shows we can actually reverse some of this. That's where it gets really interesting. How does that work?
Yes, exactly. It sounds like an uphill battle, but here's the good news. What's truly fascinating is that when researchers specifically increased certain nutrient signals, the older muscles started responding almost identically to the younger ones. There was a big meta-analysis, 2021, in cachexia, sarcopenia, and muscle, looked at 86 studies. It found that specific combinations of amino acids can essentially bypass that age-related resistance. So the right nutrition isn't just slowing it down, it can potentially reverse the underlying mechanism.
Okay, certain nutrient signals, amino acid combinations. What specific signal are we talking about here? What's the master key, you called it?
Right. The master key is an amino acid called leucine. Leucine acts like a spark plug for your muscles. Seriously. If you don't get enough leucine in a meal, the whole muscle-building engine kind of stalls, doesn't matter how much total protein you ate. It directly triggers this cellular pathway called mTOR. Think of that as the main on switch for making new muscle protein. It's like waking up those muscle cells that have gotten a bit sleepy with age.
Okay, spark plug. I like that analogy.
And studies show seniors need about 2.5 grams of leucine in a single meal to really flip that switch and overcome the resistance. That's almost double what younger adults typically need. which brings up a critical point.
Which is?
Getting enough leucine at the right time often matters more than just hitting a total daily protein number. The timing is key.
Wow. Okay, so it's not just eat more protein, it's eat enough leucine within your meals. That's a subtle but, really important distinction. Changes how you think about meals.
Precisely. Researchers at McMaster University, they really zeroed in on this. They found leucine supplements alone could bring back up to 50% of the muscle-building capacity that usually declines. And there was another trial, 2020 American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Really interesting. They compared whey protein, which is naturally high in leucine, to a plant protein. Initially, whey worked much better for seniors, but then they increased the dose of the plant protein until the leucine amount matched the whey dose.
And what happened?
The difference vanished. Muscle building was the same. It really confirmed. It's the leucine level in that meal that's driving the bus.
Okay, this is making so much sense. We need more protein overall, specifically hitting that 2.5 g leucine target per meal, and timing matters. So, now for the big reveal you mentioned. The single most effective food for reversing muscle loss in seniors is
Grass-fed beef liver.
beef liver. Okay.
Yeah, I know. It might sound a bit old-fashioned, maybe even unappealing to some.
Yeah, I think you might get a few raised eyebrows with that one. It's definitely not the first thing most people think of for muscle building. Why liver specifically? What makes it stand out so much?
It really is a powerhouse, and honestly, it's been overlooked for too long. First off, the leucine. A 4-ounce serving has around 3.3 grams of leucine.
Which is well over that 2.5 gram threshold you mentioned.
Yeah, exactly. Hits that target easily. But that's just scratching the surface. Liver is absolutely loaded with vitamin B12. We're talking like up to 3,460% of your daily value in one serving. Essential for nerves, red blood cells, and the iron. It's heme iron, which your body absorbs incredibly well, about 40% absorption. Compare that to plant iron, which might be only 20%. That directly boosts energy and muscle performance.
So it's not just the leucine trigger, it's like a whole support crew of nutrients coming along with it.
That's a great way to put it, a support crew. It also has carnosine, which helps with cellular energy and protects the muscle cells themselves. It's packed with choline for nerve-muscle communication, copper for energy, selenium, which is a potent antioxidant for muscle tissue. And here's something really fascinating, vitamin K2.
K2, I don't hear much about that one.
Right. It's pretty rare in modern diets, almost absent. But liver is a great source. And a 2018 study found K2 doesn't just help bones. It significantly improves muscle function in older adults. It kind of makes you think maybe those traditional cultures that prioritized organ meats for their elders were onto something way before we had the science to prove it.
That's incredible. A forgotten superfood indeed. And how well does our body actually use the protein from liver? You hear about some proteins being more bioavailable than others.
That's another key advantage. Liver has an exceptionally high protein digestibility score, PDCAS, they call it. It means your body utilizes almost all the protein it contains. With some plant proteins, you might only absorb, say, 60–70% of the protein listed on the label. So with liver, you get more bang for your buck from a smaller portion, which is really helpful for seniors who might have smaller appetites, right?
Yeah, definitely.
This combination of high leucine, incredible nutrient density, and high bioavailability. It's why liver author outperforms even really good quality muscle meats in studies looking at reversing sarcopenia.
Okay, you've made a very compelling case for liver. Now, you stressed timing earlier, that when you eat the protein with leucine matters a lot. Let's dig into that.
Absolutely critical. The research points strongly towards the morning. Aiming for at least 30 grams of protein, making sure it includes that 2.5 grams of leucine within about an hour of waking up seems to be ideal. It basically resets muscle breakdown from the overnight fast and kickstarts the growth process for the day.
So your muscles are more receptive in the morning?
Exactly. It seems linked to our circadian rhythms, that University of Texas study I mentioned. They found a 30% greater anabolic response to the same protein meal eaten right after waking compared to eating it at dinner. Your muscle-building machinery just seems more primed and ready to go in the morning.
30% difference just based on timing. That's significant. What about adding other things to that morning meal?
Good question. Adding even just 15 grams of carbohydrates, think a small amount of fruit or toast to that morning protein, can boost the amino acid delivery to the muscles by about 67% in seniors. It helps shuttle those building blocks where they need to go.
Okay, so protein plus a bit of carb in the morning? What about other times? Pre-sleep protein, I've heard about that.
Yes, that's another effective strategy. Having some protein, maybe around 30 grams, again about 30 minutes before bed, can increase muscle protein synthesis overnight by up to 22%. It helps counteract that breakdown period while you sleep. So it's about hitting these key windows morning and potentially pre-sleep.
Right. And I think I read somewhere about spreading protein out versus having it all at once, like a protein pulsing idea.
Yes, that's crucial too. Research from Michigan State University looked at this directly. They took seniors, gave them the same total daily protein, but had one group spread it evenly across 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, about 30 grams each. The other group ate most of their protein at dinner, which is, a pretty common pattern in the U.S.
And the results.
The group that spread it out evenly gained 25% more muscle mass over 6 months. 25%. Same total protein, just distributed differently. That protein pulsing keeps those muscle-building signals switched on throughout the day instead of just one big spike.
That's a huge difference. Really makes you rethink the typical dinner-heavy approach.
Yeah.
Okay, so we build more muscle, we get stronger. What does this mean for overall health? Is it just about being able to open jars again?
Oh, it's so much more than that. Rebuilding muscle fundamentally transforms your metabolism. For starters, a pound of muscle burns, 6 or 7 calories a day just at rest? Compare that to maybe 2 or 3 for a pound of fat, so it boosts your resting metabolism. But even more importantly, your muscles are like a giant storage tank for glucose. They soak up about 80% of the sugar from your bloodstream after a meal. So more muscle means dramatically better blood sugar control. You're essentially building this incredible metabolic shield against many diseases of aging, like type 2 diabetes.
A metabolic shield. I like that framing. It sounds so proactive. Are there other ways muscle impacts health that we might not expect?
Absolutely. This is where it gets really fascinating, with something called myokines. Researchers, particularly at Copenhagen University, have found that healthy, active muscle tissue isn't just inert stuff. It acts like an endocrine organ, releasing over 600 different signaling molecules, these myokines.
600. Wow. What do they do?
They influence everything: bone density, inflammation levels, immune function, even brain function. For example, there's one called irisin. When your muscles release irisin, it can actually help convert harmful white fat into more metabolically active brown fat, so it improves your metabolism even without you exercising more intensely at that moment. Your muscles are constantly talking to the rest of your body through these signals.
That's incredible. Muscles acting like an endocrine organ, talking to fat cells, talking to the brain. Does it connect to gut health too? Everything seems connected these days.
It really does. There was a groundbreaking study just a couple of years ago, 2022, in Nature Medicine. They found seniors with higher muscle mass consistently had much more diverse and healthy gut microbiomes, the good bacteria. It seems muscle tissue communicates with gut bacteria through specific protein signals, creating this positive feedback loop. Better muscle supports a healthier gut, and a healthier gut supports better muscle. It's a two-way street.
Amazing. Muscle, metabolism, myokines, gut health. It's all intertwined. What about the really big picture longevity? Does muscle mass link to how long we live?
It appears so, quite strongly. There was a large analysis over 8,000 seniors, and the finding was pretty stunning. Muscle mass was actually a better predictor of longevity than common measures like blood pressure, cholesterol, or even BMI.
Better than BMI or blood pressure. Wow.
Yeah, and think about practical aspects too. Stronger muscles, especially in the legs and core, drastically improve balance. That reduces the risk of falls, a major issue for seniors, by up to 40%. And the brain benefits are just remarkable.
You mentioned brain function. How direct is that link?
It's becoming clearer and clearer. Those myokines and other compounds released from active muscles directly stimulate the growth of new brain cells and protect the ones you have. This translates to better memory, sharper thinking, and potentially significant protection against cognitive decline and dementia.
So exercise and protein aren't just for the body, they're literally feeding the brain.
Precisely. A study in Frontiers in Neuroscience showed measurable cognitive improvements after just 12 weeks of muscle strengthening, linked to increases in compounds like BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And researchers at Johns Hopkins found muscle tissue produces another molecule, cathepsin B, which crosses into the brain and triggers neurogenesis, the actual growth of new brain cells. In their studies, older adults who combined protein-rich diets with even mild strength training actually increased the volume of their hippocampus, the brain's memory center, reversing age-related shrinkage.
Reversing brain shrinkage. That is truly astounding. Okay, this is powerful stuff. It's clear this is about way more than just physical strength. It's holistic health. So for someone listening right now wanting to put this into practice, let's recap the actionable steps, starting with the liver.
Right. The recommendation is to aim for about 3 ounces of grass-fed beef liver, maybe twice a week. And if the taste is a hurdle, which it is for many people, definitely consider desiccated liver capsules. That's a really easy way in. Or Try the trick of soaking fresh liver in milk for about 30 minutes before you cook it. That really mellows out the strong flavor.
Milk soaking, interesting tip.
Another good way is to finely dice it and mix it into ground beef, like maybe an 80-20 mix of ground beef to liver. Makes amazing meatballs or burgers, boosts the nutrition massively, but the liver taste isn't overwhelming.
Sneak it in there.
Exactly. And do try to find grass-fed, ideally from regenerative farms if possible. The nutrient profile tends to be better.
Good point on quality. Okay, liver twice a week or capsules. What about the daily protein and leucine targets?
Keep that target in mind. Aim for roughly 30 grams of protein with at least 2.5 grams of leucine at each main meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That pulsing approach. And of course, combine this with some simple strength exercises, maybe 3 times a week. Doesn't have to be intense gym sessions, chair squats, wall push-ups, using resistance bands. Consistency is more important than intensity here.
Right. And for people who are vegetarian or just really cannot do the liver thing, are there decent alternatives?
Yes, absolutely. It's more challenging to hit that leucine threshold and get all the synergistic nutrients without liver, but it's possible. A strategic combination of things like egg yolks, great source of choline and some leucine, nutritional yeast, good B vitamins and protein, and perhaps a high-quality whey protein supplement can get you close. You'll likely need larger volumes of these foods compared to liver to get the same nutrient density, but it can be done. The key is being mindful of hitting those leucine and protein targets consistently with whatever foods work for you.
Okay, that's helpful. So wrapping this all up, what's the big takeaway message? It really seems like muscle loss isn't this unavoidable sentence that comes with aging. It's a metabolic condition, and surprisingly, it's reversible. You genuinely have the power to rebuild strength, vitality at basically any age. It's not just about your body, but your whole metabolic health, even your cognitive function. It feels really empowering.
Absolutely. I think this deep dive really highlights that focusing on muscle isn't just vanity or about pure physical strength. It's about building that profound metabolic shield we talked about. It's about connecting to your gut health. It's even about rewiring your brain for the better. It truly is a holistic path to thriving as you age. So maybe the thought to leave with is this. How could integrating some of these insights, focusing on leucine-rich protein, timing it right, maybe even embracing liver, reshape your daily routine? How could you give your body the specific tools it needs to stay strong and vibrant, truly, no matter the number of candles on your cake?